एक विशिष्ट प्रकार के विद्वानों के बीच में आया हूं। जो इस बात के लिए जिम्मेदार है कि देश में मौजूदा प्रत्येक कंपनी कानून का पालन करे, अपने बही खातों में गड़बड़ी न करे, पूरी पारदर्शिता रखें। आप अपनी जिम्मेवारी जिस तरह से निभाते हैं, उसी से देश का कॉरपोरेट कल्चर कैसा होगा, ये तय होता है। आपकी संस्था का मोटो है सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, यानी सत्य बोलो और नियम कानून का पालन करो। आपकी दी हुई सही या गलत सलाह देश के कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस को प्रभावित करके ही रहती है। ऐसे ही लोगों को आपकी संस्था का सत्यम वद धर्मम चरम का पाठ सही रास्ते पर जाने की दिशा देता है, इसे याद दिलाता है। देश में ईमानदारी को, पारदर्शिता को इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज करने में आपके संस्थान की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस फ्रेमवर्क के निर्धारण के समय ICSI रिकमेंडेशंस की काफी सकारात्मक भूमिका रही थी। अब समय की मांग है कि आप एक नया बिजनेस कल्चर पैदा करने में भी सक्रिय भूमिका निभाएं। GST लागू होने के बाद इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स के दायरे में 19 लाख नए नागरिक आए। छोटा व्यापारी हो या बड़ा, GST में समाहित ईमानदार व्यवस्था को अपनाएं। इसके लिए व्यापारी वर्ग को प्रेरित करते रहना, ये मेरी आप सबसे अपेक्षा है। आपके संस्थान में लाखों छात्र जुड़े हुए हैं और सब कोई आखिरी तक पहुंचते नहीं है। तो उनके लिए भी तो काम ढूंढना चाहिए ना। जो बीच में लटक जाते हैं, उनके लिए मैं काम ले आया। कम से कम 1 लाख नौजवानों को GST से जुड़ी छोटी छोटी जानकारियों की ट्रेनिंग दी। हफ्ते 10 दिन की ट्रेनिंग के बाद ये छात्र अपने अपने इलाकों में छोटे छोटे दुकानों को मदद कर सकते हैं। उन्हें GST नेटवर्क से जोड़ने में काम कर सकते हैं, रिटर्न फाइल करने में काम कर सकते हैं, मदद कर सकते हैं। उनका एक नया रोजगार का क्षेत्र खुल सकता है। और बहुत आसानी से उनकी कमाई अपने इलाके में शुरू हो जाएगी। और अगर ऑर्गेनाइज वे में इस काम को आप उठाते हैं, आप देखिए शायद 1 लाख भी कम पड़ जाएंगे। 2022 में उस आजादी के 75 साल हो रहे हैं। हर हिंदुस्तानी के लिए 2022 ऐसा ही सपना होना चाहिए कि 1942 में फिट इंडिया मूवमेंट के समय देशवासियों के अंदर एक जार आया था कि अब तो अंग्रेजों को निकाल के रहेंगे। हम भी 2022 75 साल के लिए ऐसे कुछ सपनों को लेकर के चले। क्या आपका संस्थान, अगर मैं उनसे कुछ वादा चाहूं, मैं नहीं चाहता हूं आज मुझे हां कर दीजिए, लेकिन आप सोचिए, क्या आप 2022 तक कुछ संकल्प ले सकते हैं क्या? उन वादों में आपके संकल्प होंगे और उन संकल्पों को आप ही को सिद्ध करना होगा। क्या आप 2022 तक देश को एक हाई टैक्स कंप्लायंट सोसाइटी बनाने का बीड़ा उठा सकते हैं। क्या आप सुनिश्चित कर सकते हैं कि 2022 तक देश में एक भी सेल कंपनी नहीं रहेगी? क्या आप सुनिश्चित कर सकते हैं कि 2022 तक देश में हर कंपनी ईमानदारी से टैक्स भरेगी? क्या आप अपनी मदद का दायरा बढ़ाकर 2022 तक देश में एक ईमानदार बिजनेस कल्चर स्थापित कर सकते हैं? ICSI इन लक्ष्यों को प्राप्ति के लिए अलग कुछ दिशा निर्देश तय करेगा और उन्हें अपनी कार्य संस्कृति में भी शामिल करेगा। मैं आपको इस गोल्डन जुबली ईयर के लिए अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
सबसे पहले एक बात ICSI के लिए कहना चाहता हूं कि आज भारत का ग्रोथ जहां पर पहुंचा है उसमें कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। क्योंकि किसी भी देश का विकास एक मजबूत कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के बगैर हो ही नहीं सकता। कोई इन्वेस्ट तभी करता है जब व्यवस्था पर भरोसा होता है। कोई इन्वेस्ट तभी करता है जब व्यवस्था की पारदर्शिता पर भरोसा होता है, और कोई इन्वेस्ट तभी करता है जब गवर्नेंस की खराई पर, गवर्नेंस की प्रॉम्प्टनेस पर भरोसा होता है। और ये तीनों काम देश के कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज ने आज तक बहुत अच्छे से। जब आगे बढ़ना है तब कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस के अंदर समय के साथ साथ जो बदलाव हुए हैं वो बदलाव का सूक्ष्म अध्ययन कर वो बदलाव को अपने काम का हिस्सा बनाकर, स्वभाव बनाकर, और बदलाव को अपनी स्ट्रेंथ में परिवर्तित कर आगे बढ़ने की हमने एक योजना बनानी पड़ेगी। और मैं मानता हूं कि ICSI से ज्यादा इस काम कोई अच्छे से कर नहीं सकता। वो आप लोगों के भरोसे पूरा देश आगे बढ़ेगा। कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर कैसा होगा उसका शेप करने वाले जो लोग होते हैं उसमें आप हैं। आपकी जिम्मेदारी है कि हमारे देश के कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस को और कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर को आने वाली चुनौतियां और आने वाले मौके दोनों के लिए हम तैयार करें और देश के विकास के अंदर कंट्रीब्यूट करें। जिस प्रकार से डॉक्टर की जॉब नहीं होती है, वो पेशेंट के स्वास्थ्य की चिंता करती है, इसी तरह से कंपनी सेक्रेटरी कंपनी के स्वास्थ्य की चिंता करने के लिए होता है। आप लोगों के हाथ में कंपनी का स्वास्थ्य होता है, आपने बैलेंस बनाना है। एक और बोर्ड की बोनाफाइड मिस्टेक को कानूनी रास्ता भी दिखाना है, दूसरी ओर इन्वेस्टर और शेयर होल्डर के हित को भी ध्यान में रखना है, उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना है, तीसरी ओर सरकार के सभी कॉम्प्लायंसेस के लिए भी बोर्ड के अंदर जागरूकता लानी है। ये तीनों काम अगर आप बैलेंस से करते हो तो ही कंपनी की स्वास्थ्य, कंपनी की हेल्थ अच्छी रहेगी। 2015, 17, 19 और 20 इसमें एक्ट में बहुत सारे बदलाव करे गए और पिनल प्रोविजन को बहुत कम कर दिया गया। 81 जगह पे पिनल प्रोविजन को हटाकर पेनल्टी को डाल दिया गया है। और इसके साथ साथ जो व्यवस्था की है, इन हाउस मैकेनिज्म स्थापित करने की व्यवस्था को भी कानूनी स्वरूप दिया गया है। जब इन हाउस मैकेनिज्म स्थापित करने की व्यवस्था को कानूनी स्वरूप देते हैं तब सरकार आप पर भरोसा करे, कंपनी सेक्रेटरी पर भरोसा करे। सरकार अपने अधिकार आपको दे रही है और आपका दायित्व है कि कंपनी इन हाउस मैकेनिज्म की पूरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी निभाएं। वो कंपनी निभाए, इसकी जिम्मेदारी आपकी है। सरकार की जिम्मेदारी इससे कम होती है, आपकी जिम्मेदारी वहां से शुरू होती है। इसलिए आपको जागरूकता के साथ सरकार के भरोसे को जमीन पर उतारने का काम करना है। मैं इतना जरूर आपको कहना चाहता हूं। कॉरपोरेट्स के मार्गदर्शन हो, सेक्रेटरीट मानांक हो, ऑडिटिंग हो, हर चीज को बारीकी से आपको देखना है। आईसीएसआई ने भी एक ट्रेडिशनल प्रोफेशनल एसोसिएशन की तरह चलने की जगह इस बदलाव को संस्थागत करने के लिए, इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज करने के लिए आपके काम में भी नए नए डायमेंशन आपने सोचने से। आईसीएसआई का जो पास्ट रिकॉर्ड है वो रिकॉर्ड बहुत अच्छा है और आने वाले समय में भी देश के अर्थतंत्र को गति देने में आईसीएसआई का कंट्रीब्यूशन, देश के कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज का कंट्रीब्यूशन इतना ही रहेगा, बल्कि और स्पष्ट दिशा वाला होगा, इसका मुझे भरोसा है।
World is looking at how best to streamline compliances, and most often big scandals and big things have come out for want of compliance, for want of matured compliance. And it is there that I think you have a very big role to play, more with ease of compliance being one of the norms. The greater simplicity that we can bring into a system is where things work finer. So when norms and regulations are placed before for companies to operate within a certain framework, the simpler it is, the better it is. The simpler it is, the easier and tempting it can be for compliance itself. So there's always been this accent for companies to function and function without the burden of compliance being on their shoulders. So in that respect, I think the company secretaries have a very important role to play, more with, on the one hand, where the government says, I want to ease compliances, and on the other hand, where opportunities are ever growing because of introduction of technology. Greater, well-managed companies, companies which are more transparent in their functioning, companies which have good governance principles, board-driven principles, are attracting a lot of investors, not just big-ticket investors, but also small retail investors. And therefore, for a company to flourish, to grow, and also to expand in its area of operation, the role of a company secretary to make it easy, to make it ready for a company to follow the guiding principles that you might advise them with, is going to make a lot of difference. That the money is flowing from retail investors and big-ticket investors all towards well-managed companies. How can a company be well-managed? Purely by the role of the company secretary. And I think the outcome, which is a lot of investors going into the market, a lot of retail investors going into the market, companies drawing a lot of funds from abroad, are all possible only because you are at it and doing a good job of advising companies to follow greater compliances and making it simple for them. I duly and I full-heartedly appreciate the role that the company secretaries have played, even during the pandemic, in keeping the corporate governance principles, in following the compliance norms, so that Indian companies, I think, have done extraordinarily well.
The Institute of Company Secretaries of India, in an attempt to strengthen the framework of good governance, has launched the Employee Company Secretary Identification Number, ECSIN. The purpose of ECSIN is to monitor the appointment and cessation of company secretary in employment, whether as CS or otherwise, and to bring transparency. ECSIN also provides facility for updating professional address. ECSIN is a random alphanumeric number generated at the time of appointment as well as at the time of demitting office in any manner. The ECSIN shall be quoted on the consent letter and the resignation or cessation letter attached with Form DIR 12. ECSIN has been made mandatory with effect from 1st October 2019. To generate ECSIN, create login ID and password on ECSIN portal of ICSI. No supporting document is required to be uploaded. ECSIN shall be shared only on the registered email ID of the member. One member can have only one active ECSIN at any given point of time. However, in case of appointment as KMP in subsidiary company, a member can seek specific permission from ICSI for allotting another ECSIN. Regulatory bodies and other stakeholders may verify the authenticity of ECSIN by visiting the ECSIN portal of ICSI. The requirement of generating and mentioning ECSIN shall not apply to sitting members of Parliament or of any state or UT Legislative Assembly, serving members of civil services and allied disciplines, serving diplomats, members registered with any registered Bar Council of India, and many others. Any non-compliance with ECSIN guidelines shall render the members liable for action under the Company Secretaries Act 1980, read with first schedule and second schedule to the Company Secretaries Act 1980.
The Institute of Company Secretaries of India, in its endeavour to strengthen the framework of good governance and enhance authenticity of attestation, certification of documents signed by company secretaries in practice, has introduced a special mechanism under the aegis of Unique Document Identification Number or UDIN. The ICSI UDIN is a system-generated alphanumeric number which provides ease of maintaining the register of attestation or certification services rendered by practicing members while preventing counterfeiting of various attestations or certifications, and ensures compliance of the guidelines issued by the Institute ceilings on the number of certification or attestation services. Practicing members can generate UDIN by logging onto the UDIN portal of ICSI. The process is very simple and no supporting documents are required to be uploaded for registration. The ICSI UDIN has been made mandatory for every document except an e-form signed or certified by a CS with effect from 1st October 2019. ICSI UDIN enables stakeholders and regulators to verify the genuinity of documents signed or certified by a company's secretaries in practice. Any non-compliance with the UDIN guidelines shall render the members liable for action under the Company's Secretaries Act 1980, read with first schedule and second schedule to the Company's Secretaries Act 1980. Prevent falsification, prevent fraud, generate trust with ICSI UDIN. The Institute of Company Secretaries of India, in pursuit of professional excellence.
The youth today mostly believe in relishing life and self-indulgence. While it is natural to not think of any kind of mishap when you are young, but it is definitely prudent to prepare yourself in case of any adversity. Life's significant moments usually require a promise. Promise to love, cherish, guard, and protect. And an important part of keeping those promises is ensuring that your loved ones would be financially okay in the times of distress or need. The Company Secretaries Benevolent Fund creates a security umbrella and provides reasonable safety to the company secretaries who are members of the CSBF and their dependent family members in times of distress. The Company Secretaries Benevolent Fund was established by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India in the year 1976. CSBF is a society registered with the Registrar of Societies, New Delhi, under the Societies Registration Act 1860. CSBF is recognized under Section 12A of the Income Tax Act 1961. The subscription or contribution to the fund qualify for deduction under Section 80G of the Income Tax Act 1961. Let's take a look at the major benefits of becoming a life member of CSBF. You can become a life member of CSBF by making an application in Form A along with one-time subscription of Rs 10,000. Register now and join the relentless pursuit of protecting your family. Don't wait until it's too late. Become a proud member of CSBF. For further clarification, visit www.icsi.edu/csbf/home.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting everyone to kindly take your seats. We are about to start the program shortly. Guests at the back, I would request you all to kindly come and take your seats. We are about to start the program shortly. I'm told our chief guest has just arrived at the venue, requesting everyone to please come on, take your seats. We'll be starting our program soon. Our chief guest is arriving shortly, requesting once again everyone to please take your seats. Guests at the back, kindly take your seats. I know we all are excited about the 54th Foundation Day, but I would still request everyone to take your seats. We'll be starting the program soon. I can still see a few empty seats here and a few guests standing right at the back. Please, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very happy 54th Foundation Day of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. My name is Sonu Nahata, and it is my absolute honor and privilege to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Bhagwat Kishan Rao Karad, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Government of India, and our keynote speaker, Shri Amarjeet Sinha, retired IAS member, Public Enterprises Selection Board, and former advisor to the Prime Minister of India. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for our guest of the day. To make the occasion a blessed one, and also because today is the 9th day of Navratra of Durga Puja, I now invite our guest to kindly invoke Goddess Saraswati by kindling the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. I would request our guests and our council members to join our dignitaries to light the lamp. With that, we seek the blessings of Ma Durga and Saraswati and let the celebrations begin. I request all our dignitaries to join us on the stage, on the dais. And I would request President, ICSI, and Council Member C.S. Ranjit Pandit to escort our guests onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for our guests of the day. Today is a big day for the ICSI, especially because 54 years is no small feat, and reminiscing it is worthwhile in order to renew and embrace our origin, our people, our values, and our tradition that is built on the ethics and integrity of our profession. Our motto, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, which says, speak the truth and abide by the law, imbibes these values in our system. May I now request you all to please stand up for this source of inspiration for all of us, the ICSI motto song.
उम्मीद के अंबर में हम बन के खिले जो रोशनी, कह देंगे हम संसार को कोई लक्ष्य नामुमकिन नहीं। ज्ञान के और न्याय के हर राह को थामे हुए चल पड़े हैं झूम कर बस गीत ये गाते हुए। सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर। कंपनी सचिव कदमों की हर एक गूंज में बस जीत का एहसास हो, राष्ट्र प्रगति पथ पे हो और आत्मबल की आस हो। जब भी चले इस भाव से खुलते गए हैं रास्ते, आवाज हमने दिल से दी है गीत ये गाते हुए। सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर। हर उन्नति के रंग में हर भारतीय हाथ हो, उद्यम हो या उद्योग हो, हर ओर अपना साथ हो। जाना शिखर तक है हमें सच की कलाई थाम कर, हम जीत के सुर छेड़ेंगे गीत ये गाते हुए। सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर।
I now request CS Ranjit Pandey, former President and Chairman of the ICSI's Foundation Day Organizing Committee, to please greet our keynote speaker, Shri Amarjeet Sinha, with the ICSI planter. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. May I now request CS Devendra V. Deshpande, President, the ICSI, to please greet our chief guest, Dr. Bhagwat Kishan Rao Karad, with the ICSI planter. Needless to say, please put your hands together. Give a big round of applause. Welcome once again, sir. Creating anything of value needs a solid foundation. And today, as we reflect on our growth, grit, and greatness, we're also looking at implementing and fostering the prudent perspective of building a sustainable ecosystem. The theme this year, ICSI, Building Governance Ecosystem for Sustainable Growth, is a reflection of how far we have come and how much more we have to thrive and show to imbue a good governance culture down the line. On that note, I would request CS Ranjit Pandey to kindly come and give his welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. Wish you all a very happy Foundation Day. Let's clap for our ICSI, our beloved institution. With immense gratitude, I, CS Ranjit Pandey, on behalf of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, welcome Dr. Bhagwat Karad, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Government of India, on the occasion of 54th Foundation Day of ICSI. Sir, it is indeed our pleasure to have your gracious presence on this historic occasion. I extend my heartfelt welcome to Mr. Amarjeet Sinha, IAS, Member of Public Service Enterprise Selection Board and former Advisor to Prime Minister of India. We welcome you, sir. I would also like to extend my warm welcome to all my fellow council colleagues, past presidents, past secretaries, officials from MCA, all the members, students, employees, office bearers of the chapter, regional councils, past chairmen, employees of ICSI and all the stakeholders who are present here, and also welcome all the stakeholders who are connected virtually and watching this program live. Sir, it gives me immense pleasure to share that on this historic day, the Institute is launching 3 new initiatives and a publication which shall take forward the theme of this year's celebration of the Foundation Day. The theme is ICSI, Building Governance Ecosystem for Sustainable Growth. Due to some urgent commitments and meeting, Dr. Karad has to leave early. We will first hear his word of wisdom for the profession, and thereafter we will continue with the program. So, I'll request Sonu to kindly welcome Dr. Karad.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting the tone of the celebration. I would now invite our chief guest, Dr. Bhagwat Kishan Rao Karad, Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Government of India, to kindly address the August gathering. Before that, I'll just give a very brief introduction of Dr. Karad. He holds an MBBS, MS in General Surgery, MCH Pediatric Surgery, FCPS General Surgery. He was educated at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Mumbai, College of Physicians and Surgeons, Mumbai University, Mumbai. He's a member of the Rajya Sabha from Maharashtra and was the mayor of Aurangabad twice. He's an organizational person of the Bharatiya Janata Party of Maharashtra from Aurangabad and became the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause for Dr. Bhagwat Kannan.
Today, I am happy to be a chief guest on the occasion of Foundation Day of ICSI. It is the 54th Foundation Day. On this occasion, the President of ICSI, Sri Devendra Deshpande ji, immediate past President, Sri Ranjit Pandey ji, then Amarjit Sinha ji, Ashish Mohan ji, Secretary ICSI. I am really happy to be with you because you are the very important personalities to build a bridge between corporate office and government. I know Mr. Deshpande since long time, and we met actually number of times. Some of the occasions I was unable to attend the function. But today, actually I have come for this and this only for this function. Tonight I am going back. आज आने का एक ही मकसद था कि आपका फंक्शन अटेंड करें और आपके जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए शुभकामनाएं देते हुए आप जो पूरे देश में अच्छा काम करते हैं उसके साथ जुड़ लेना, इसलिए मैं आपके साथ आया हूं। ये लॉन्ग जर्नी है, 54 साल की बहुत ही लॉन्ग जर्नी है। अभी मैं डिस्कस कर रहा था आने के बाद, जो 1968 में आपको गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से मान्यता मिली है और उसी के साथ लगातार आप काम कर रहे हैं। ये कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस जो है, कॉरपोरेट गवर्नेंस को संभालना, अच्छी तरह से संभालना, ये आप लोग करते हैं। कॉरपोरेट को अच्छी तरह से गाइडलाइंस देना और गाइडलाइंस के साथ अच्छे जो कुछ रूल्स है, टू फॉलो ऑल द रूल्स विच आर गिवन बाय द गवर्नमेंट, दैट यू पीपल आर डूइंग। एंड इसी के साथ जो कॉरपोरेट ऑफिस है, जो कॉरपोरेट का इकोनॉमी बढ़ाना, ये आपके ही माध्यम से होता है। और ये कॉरपोरेट की जो बॉडी रहती है उनको पता रहता है कि ये द CS कंपनी सेक्रेटरी इज ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सन टू प्रोग्रेस द कॉरपोरेट, और वो आप काम करते हैं। इसी के माध्यम से इकोनॉमी बढ़ती है। कॉरपोरेट की अगर इकोनॉमी बढ़ाना है, उनको प्रॉफिट में लाना है, उनका सोर्सेस बढ़ाना है, तो आप सब लोग गाइड करते हैं। तो इसलिए इकोनॉमी जो हमारी आज देश की जो बढ़ रही है, तो उसी में आपका भी बहुत बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है। मैं यहाँ नितना चाहता हूँ। आपको तो पता है कि भारत देश की इकोनॉमी आज पूरे दुनिया में 5वें नंबर पे भारत देश। बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स है उसमें, लेकिन वन ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्टर इज अ कॉरपोरेट्स, एंड द कॉरपोरेट्स को गाइड करने वाले आप बेसिक लोग हैं। इसलिए आपका महत्वपूर्ण रोल है, ये मैं बताना चाहता हूँ। हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑनरेबल नरेंद्र मोदी जी का एक ही सपना है, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट हमारे पास आना और हमारे देश से ज़्यादा एक्सपोर्ट होना। एक्सपोर्ट होने के वजह से इंपोर्ट कम करना। मेक इन इंडिया, मेड इन इंडिया के ऊपर ज़्यादा रोल ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी देते हैं, और ये गाइड करते समय आपका कॉरपोरेट के लिए बहुत ही बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है। अगर हम देखें तो लास्ट ईयर का फिगर $83.57 बिलियन ये FDI आया है, और इसमें मुझे लगता है कि आपका बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है। कॉरपोरेट का जो रिफॉर्म्स होते हैं, रिफॉर्म्स कोई भी कॉरपोरेट, अभी समझो एक 25 साल पहले कॉरपोरेट ऑफिस है या कंपनी है, और वो कंपनी को अगर आगे चलना है, उनमें डेवलपमेंट करना है, तो अलग अलग रिफॉर्म्स के सिवाय कोई कंपनी नहीं चल सकती। और कंपनी का रिफॉर्म्स अगर करना है, उसमें इनोवेशंस करना है, तो आप लोगों का भी बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। रिफॉर्म करना, रिफॉर्म के बाद परफॉर्म करना, और परफॉर्म के बाद ट्रांसफॉर्म करना, ये तीनों चीज़ में कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज का बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट रोल रहता है। मैं बताना चाहता हूँ ये रिफॉर्म के बारे में, जब मैं वर्ड बोला रिफॉर्म, तो इसमें इंसॉल्वेंसी हो, क्रेडिट अवेलेबिलिटी हो, क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रांजैक्शंस हो, रजिस्ट्रेशन हो, या कंस्ट्रक्शन के अलग अलग डिफरेंट परमिशंस हो, इसमें आपका महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। और इसके साथ ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, जो गवर्नमेंट के अलग अलग रेगुलेशंस है, तो ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में रेगुलर उसको फॉलोअप कैसा करना, और अपने कॉरपोरेट को उनमें जो कॉरपोरेट के लिए हित के लिए है, उसी में कैसा काम करना, इसी को कॉरपोरेट को गाइड करने में भी आप लोगों का बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। मैं पहले ही बताया कि गवर्नेंस ऑफ द कॉरपोरेटिव इज हैंडल्ड बाय यू पीपल, एंड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू गिव important directions to the company that you people are doing. So I congratulate you from my heart, because you are guiding to the good corporates by giving the good directions. उसी के साथ सोशल जस्टिस, सोशल डेवलपमेंट होना भी बहुत जरूरी है। एक आधी कॉरपोरेट बहुत ही अच्छी काम कर रहे, तो कॉरपोरेट को सोशल व्यू कैसा देना, सोशल काम कैसा करना, इसके साथ भी आप लोग गाइड कर सकते हैं। अगर हमें कॉरपोरेट बढ़ाना है, तो हमारी कमिटमेंट भी होना चाहिए कि हमें सोशल जो कमिटमेंट्स है वो भी फुलफिल करना। हमारे कॉरपोरेट के माध्यम से सम सोशल वर्क भी होना जरूरी है, जिससे गरीब लोगों को मदद मिले, जिससे हमारे जिस एरिया में हम काम करते हैं उस लोगों को उस सामाजिक समीकरण चेंज करने के लिए, गरीबों का अपलिफ्ट करने के लिए आपकी भी मदद होना चाहिए। और मुझे लगता है इसी में आप लोगों का भी बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। इस सेकंड में पॉइंट बताना, सिर्फ कॉरपोरेट बढ़े और बाकी कुछ फायदा नहीं है, ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए। तो सोशल कमिटमेंट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग which people you are doing. You are advising the corporate, you are advising the director board, and you are doing, ये मुझे पता है। इसके साथ थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंट चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूं, लाइफ, यानी लाइफ स्टाइल एंड एनवायरमेंट। हमें जो प्रकृति है, नेचर है, नेचर के साथ काम करना जरूरी है। नेचर के साथ काम करना इसीलिए जरूरी है कि हमें जो एनवायरमेंट है, एनवायरमेंट अच्छा हो तो हम अच्छी तरह से जी सकते हैं। और अगर अच्छी तरह से समझो, आजकल हम देख लें कि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का प्रमाण बढ़ रहा है, ग्लोबल टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है, तो ये होके भी नहीं चलने वाला। ग्लोबल टेम्परेचर 1.5 से बढ़ गया है, तो ये भी हमें नॉर्मल लेवल पे कैसे लाना। सो विद दिस ग्रोथ ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिसेस, we have to see that the environment is also taken care, particularly ट्री प्लांटेशन हो, लेस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड या मोनोऑक्साइड यानी गैसेस का मिक्सिंग नेक्स हो, ये अलग अलग चीज़ में भी आप लोगों का ख्याल देना है। और मुझे पता है आप में बहुत ही अभी जो फर्स्ट जो हमें जो सीनियर लोग सबसे जो पहले प्रेसिडेंट थे, सेक्रेटरी थे, ये सीनियर लोग भी यहाँ आए हैं। इनके माध्यम से जो नए लोग आए हैं, आपको गाइड करने के लिए सीनियर लोग हैं, जूनियर लोग इकट्ठा आके जो आज दिन भर हमारे अलग अलग जो अपने पैनलिस्ट है, हमारे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के भी अभी साहब आए हैं, जो IAS है सिन्हा साहब, बराबर ना, सिन्हा साहब आए हैं। ऐसे जो इसमें टेक्निकल लोग हैं, इन लोगों का भी यहाँ आके उनका लेक्चर रखा है, वो गाइड करने वाला है। तो मुझे पता है कि आप सब लोग आज दिन भर इकट्ठा आके जो आपका 54th फाउंडेशन डे है वो सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं और इसी के माध्यम से हमारे अलग अलग कॉरपोरेट हो, अलग अलग ऑफिसेस हो, आगे कैसा बढ़े और इसके माध्यम से हमारे देश की इकोनॉमी कैसा बढ़े। मैं इतना ही बताना चाहता हूँ, ये एक सेक्शन कॉरपोरेट होगा, लेकिन अलग अलग कौन सा भी सेक्शन लो, हमारे आज इंडिया की पोजीशन ऐसी है, समझो नेशनल हाईवे लो, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लो, पावर सेक्टर लो, सोलार सेक्टर लो, इरिगेशन लो, फार्मर्स लो, हर जगह देर इज़ अ रिफॉर्म्स, देर इज़ अ डेवलपमेंट। एंड ये डेवलपमेंट क्यों हो रही है? बिकॉज हमें गाइड करने वाली फोर्स ऊपर अच्छी बैठी है और दैट फोर्स इज ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर। बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑल सेक्टर्स आर इम्प्रूविंग वेरी फास्ट। और मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि 2 दिन हर विजन, अभी इफ यू रीड और लिसन द प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब ने जो 15 अगस्त को स्पीच दिया है, तो हमें ये आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव तो हो गया, 75 साल हो गए, लेकिन अभी जो 25 साल है ये भारत देश के लिए अमृत काल है। और इस अमृत काल में 25 साल में हर सेक्टर में, हर जगह हमें प्रोग्रेस करना है और प्रोग्रेस करके हमारे देश को आगे बढ़ाना है। और हमारा देश आगे बढ़ के कोई हालत में, चाहे इकोनॉमी हो, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, इंडस्ट्री हो, अलग अलग सेक्टर में भारत का नंबर आगे कैसा बढ़े और आगे बढ़ के हमें भारत एक विश्व गुरु नाते, हमें ज़्यादा पावर तो चाहिए लेकिन हमें किसके ऊपर ज़्यादा फोर्स भी लगाना नहीं है, हमें एक गाइडेंस के माध्यम से भारत सब के लिए विश्व सब सेक्टर में विश्व गुरु कैसा बने, इसी के ऊपर हमें नज़र रखना है। और इसी के माध्यम से गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया काम कर रही है। तो एक प्रतिनिधि गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का बोल के मैं आपके सामने खड़ा हूँ और आपको कभी भी कौन से ही सेक्टर में अगर ज़रूरत है तो आप कभी भी अप्रोच हो सकते हैं। लेकिन इतना ही बताना चाहता हूँ, आपकी मैं प्रार्थना मदद ज़्यादा तो मैं समझ नहीं सका, लेकिन जो आप जो प्रार्थना करें वो भी मुझे ये लग रहा है कि हमें सब सत्य पे काम करना है, आगे चल के सत्य रास्ते, धर्म के रास्ते पे काम करना है, यही आपकी प्रार्थना है। और हम सब लोग इकट्ठा होकर काम करेंगे तो मुझे पता है कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि भारत इस दुनिया में सबसे श्रेष्ठ देश बनेगा। और प्रधानमंत्री जी मोदी जी जैसा नेतृत्व मिला है, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है हम कुछ ही दिन में, जैसा इकोनॉमी 5वां नंबर आ गया, हमारी इकोनॉमी $5 ट्रिलियन बनाना है तो हम जल्दी के जल्दी कर पाएंगे। ऐसे इस विश्वास के साथ मैं आप सभी लोगों को दिल से अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं। मैं आप सभी को मेरे तरफ से 54th आज का जो फाउंडेशन डे है, इसलिए मैं आप मेरे तरफ से हार्दिक शुभकामना देते हुए मैं मेरे वाणी को विराम देता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of appreciation. We hope that we continue to be the bridge between the corporates and the government, and we continue to reform, perform, and transform. Due to the paucity of his time, our chief guest will have to leave a little earlier. Hence, I would request President the ICSI to present him with the ICSI memento as a token of our gratitude for taking out time from his pressing assignments and gracing this momentous occasion for us. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as we are celebrating all that we have achieved together, let us look at what our aspirations have been over the years and the milestones that we have achieved so far. We've tried to incorporate as much as we could in a small video for all of you all here. Can we please play the ICSI video?
Just as the modern government cannot run without a secretariat, similarly, no modern company management can be carried on without a company secretary. This exhortation by Mr. D.L. Mazumdar, Secretary, Department of Company Law Administration, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, in the year 1956 laid the foundation for setting up the Institute of Company Secretaries. It was in 1960 that the Company Law Board started a course in company secretaryship where the diploma was awarded by the government. The government then promoted the Institute of Company Secretaries of India as a Section 25 company on 4th October 1968, the day that is celebrated as the Foundation Day of the Institute. On enactment of the Company Secretaries Act in 1980, the Institute became a statutory body to develop and regulate the profession of company secretaries. Headquartered in New Delhi, the ICSI has 4 regional offices in New Delhi, Chennai, Kolkata and Mumbai, with 72 chapter offices across the length and breadth of the country. The Institute also has 6 overseas centers in UAE, USA, UK, Singapore, Australia and Canada. The core strength of the Institute lies in its members and students, besides its employees. For the students, the Institute provides top quality education and training, while for members it sets the best quality standards and provides continuous professional development. The profession of company secretary today is being progressively viewed as more than just a compliance mandate. Besides aiding in the efficient management of the corporate sector, company secretaries are rendering services that is strengthening the corporate governance framework of the country.
देश में ईमानदारी को, पारदर्शिता को इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज करने में आपके संस्थान की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस फ्रेमवर्क के निर्धारण के समय ICSI रिकमेंडेशंस की काफी सकारात्मक भूमिका रही थी।
With the Companies Act 2013 conferring a special status to a company secretary as the key managerial personnel or KMP and mandating secretarial audit, the role of a company secretary both in employment and in practice has become multifaceted and all-inclusive.
किसी भी देश का विकास एक मजबूत कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के बगैर हो ही नहीं सकता। कोई इन्वेस्ट तभी करता है जब व्यवस्था पर भरोसा होता है। कोई इन्वेस्ट तभी करता है जब व्यवस्था की पारदर्शिता पर भरोसा होता है, और कोई इन्वेस्ट तभी करता है जब गवर्नेंस की खराई पर, गवर्नेंस की प्रॉम्प्टनेस पर भरोसा होता है। और ये तीनों काम देश के कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज ने आज तक बहुत अच्छे से।
How can a company be well managed? Purely by the role of the company secretary. And I think the outcome, which is a lot of investors going into the market, a lot of retail investors going into the market, companies drawing a lot of funds from abroad, are all possible only because you are at it and doing a good job of advising companies to follow greater compliances.
Company secretaries today are working as integrated corporate managers, undertaking a wide gamut of work in all the financial areas, including ESG, social audit, and sustainability, in addition to their core areas of legal and corporate governance.
आपकी संस्था का मोटो है सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, यानी सत्य बोलो और नियम कानून का पालन करो। आपकी दी हुई सही या गलत सलाह देश के कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस को प्रभावित करके ही रहती है।
The modern day company secretary is a true guide of the corporates, hand-holding the board, protecting the interest of all stakeholders, and more importantly, ensuring adherence to the laws of the land in letter and spirit. As India moves ahead in its journey of becoming Atmanirbhar in various sectors, it is professionals like you who will be playing a key role in reviving the economy and strengthening the foundations of the corporate governance.
In its endeavor to bring uniformity to the diverse secretarial practices followed across corporate boards, the ICSI introduced the ICSI Secretarial Standards for corporates in India. While the Indian government mandated the ICSI Secretarial Standards 1 and 2 for all Indian companies, the Malaysian Association of Company Secretaries (MACS) also adopted ICSI Secretarial Standards for benchmarking its own standards.
You as company secretaries are the custodians of the interest of shareholders, investors and people at large. Gandhiji's idea of trusteeship had a similar objective. You are the sentinels who ensure compliance of company laws and regulations. You are the minds who ensure that business and enterprise align their practices to the larger socio-economic objectives of the country. The motto of your institute, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Char, that is, speak the truth and abide by the law, should always be at the center of your thought and action.
आज केवल कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में नहीं, ग्राम पंचायत से लेकर नगर पालिका से लेकर तमाम सेक्टरों के अंदर आपने प्रबंधन बेहतर हो, केवल आपने उद्योगों में प्रबंधन करने की बात नहीं की, आपने लोकतंत्र की उन छोटी संस्थाओं से लेकर बड़ी संस्थाओं के अंदर भी गुणवत्तापूर्वक लोकतंत्र हो, ताकि हम देश के अंदर एक नई दिशा दे सके। इसके लिए आपका काम महत्वपूर्ण है और इसीलिए आज ICSI ने ग्राम पंचायत से लेकर कंपनियों से लेकर निजी सार्वजनिक कंपनियों से लेकर देश और पूरे विश्व के अंदर आपकी इसी गुणवत्ता के कारण आपने एक विशेष पहचान बनाई है।
Taking a leap forward, the Institute introduced the ICSI National Awards for Excellence in Corporate Governance in the year 2001 to recognize the efforts of Indian companies in promoting good governance. The Institute also added the ICSI Institute of Insolvency Professionals, ICSI IIP, and the ICSI Registered Valuers Organization, ICSI RVO, as its subsidiaries to add to its bouquet of services and equip the members with additional courses to serve India Inc. better. Further, the Institute created ECSIN and UDIN mechanism for its members to enhance the transparency and authenticity of the documents, and auditing standards for standardization of the audit process.
So ICSI deserves kudos for raising the bar on governance and other secretarial standards. I congratulate the ICSI for successfully imbibing the good corporate governance practices into the Indian corporate sector through their professional competence of its members, who are specialists in governance and playing a leadership role in promoting corporate governance practices in India.
Keeping up with the best tradition of a professional institute, the Institute has bestowed honorary fellowships to a galaxy of distinguished professionals for making a significant contribution to the profession.
Each and every arena of business, functioning from setting up of new businesses, expansion through mergers and acquisitions, seeking funds from overseas or investing monies therein, all require the services of company secretaries. And even further, if I was to focus on enhancing the role of practicing professionals and their extensive responsibilities, I would definitely consider their roles as insolvency practitioners and registered valuers. Both these responsibilities played by seasoned professionals shall go a long way in not only strengthening the governance structure, but redefining the role of professionals of this institute.
I truly believe that over the years, the ICSI has raised the bar of excellence through good governance, compliance, transparency, and accountability, and has also played a very pivotal role in the evolution of corporate India by fostering governance reforms.
Over the years, the Institute has played a crucial role in shaping the governance structure of the country. The vision, mission and motto of the Institute have been reinstating the fact that good governance not just fosters sustainability but also helps corporates realize their long-term goals.
In fact, your motto that you just quoted, Satyam Vada and Dharmam Chara, speak the truth, abide by the truth, is truly reflective of the work that is expected of your institute and its 65,000 members, as you just pointed out.
Your role is so critical. You make people rich, you make company grow into big companies, you make the country strong, but you are always in the background. You are the true, foundation of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. The company secretaries play a very critical role.
ICSI has come a long way in the last 5 decades. However, a lot is yet to be achieved, and new standards are to be set to reinvent and deliver selfless and value-added services to the nation.
Wow. But that makes all of us very, very, very proud of ICSI, very proud of ourselves. The journey indeed inspires us to aspire yet again to tread this path of steady and sustainable growth. I would now invite CS Ranjit Pandey once again to kindly come back and continue with his address and share his thoughts on the theme of the day.
Thank you so much. Good morning once again. A very warm welcome to all of you to this 54th Foundation Day again. I would acknowledge the presence of 2-3 dignitaries. First of all, Sri R. Krishnan, first President of ICSI, and Sri Nishar Ahmad, President ICSI 2011, and also ICAI government nominee, Mr. Jhalani, who is present here. Friends, our ICSI as it stands today, 54 years of existence, is a moment of pride and celebration, which is beyond the words. From amongst the various flagship events we organize every year, the Foundation Day, on the Foundation Day, we all bow together to the founding fathers. We commend the efforts of our predecessors and feel truly humbled by the support extended by all the stakeholders for growth and development of this institution. This reminds me the quote or doha of Kabir Das. धीरे धीरे रे मना, धीरे धीरे सब होय, सब कुछ होय, माली सींचे 100 घड़ा, ऋतु आए तब फल होय. The glory of this profession, where we are today, it's all because of the steady and continuous efforts of all the stakeholders, be it members, be it students, be it employees, and all those who are contributing to the growth and development of the profession. Let us all today put our hand together to thank and give them big round of applause. Friends, ICSI has acknowledged the significance of governance in every field. And this thought and ideology pushed us to work toward building the good governance ecosystem for all the pillars of the society and all the constituents supporting the growth of India. The theme for today's Foundation Day celebration, ICSI Building Governance Ecosystem for Sustainable Growth, a theme that focuses on the growth, sustainability, and lays the foundation of creating an ecosystem of good governance. While our self-governance initiatives have branched out from the thought that you preach only what you practice, it is our motto, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, which guides all the members, students and stakeholders of the institute, and it is expected from all the members to follow the Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara. 69,000 members, 250,000 students, and more than 400 employees supporting the ICSI to follow this motto. The foundation day of any institution provides occasion of reminiscence and showcase the work done, initiatives taken, milestone achieved, and quantum impact created by them. So let's understand what initiative we have taken and what milestones we have achieved, and whether those milestones has created the impact in the growth of ICSI or not. If I need to choose pick the top 10 milestone of ICSI in last 50 years, they would be: first, 1956, golden words of Dr. D.L. Majumdar. No modern company management can be carried out without a company secretary. Laid the foundation of the company secretary services in the country. These golden words has created a buzz that yes, this is the services the company secretaries can do for the corporate. Second, 1968, ICSI becomes Section 8 company, the foundation day, which we are celebrating today. 1971, we have first released our first chartered secretary, which is a national journal, and all the professionals are happy to receive it and update and upgrade their knowledge with the chartered secretary. 1972, first national convention, and this journey is continuing from last 50 years. 1980, ICSI became the statutory body by enactment of the Company Secretaries Act 1980. 1988, first recognition has been given to the practicing company secretary, and annual return certification has been provided to the members. This we now celebrate as a PCS day from the year 2016. 2000 Corporate Governance Award has been started, and taking a leap out of these awards, now we have released last year itself handbook on the best practices. We are thinking that this will become the governance standards for world to follow in times to come. Concept of secretarial standard also initiated in the year 2000. Now it has got the statutory recognition with the Companies Act 2013. 2014, we become KMP, and we got the secretarial audit, and we become the secretarial auditor. 2016, we come a long way and become the insolvency professional, and ICSI has incorporated a company called ICSI IIP, Institute of Insolvency Professionals. Last but not least, 10th milestone, 2017. We crossed the benchmark or landmark of 50,000 company secretaries. We become 50,000 in the year 2017, and we established ICSI RVO. So registered valuer services has been started in the year 2017, and we started enrolling the registered valuers of the country. While carrying the legacy of 50 years, last 4 years of the profession were also truly inspiring. 2019, we focused truly on the self-governance and go global. ECSIN, UDIN, auditing standard, guidance on scale of fees, new award recognizing the role of the company secretary, best secretarial audit report award, first international overseas conference center at Dubai. These are the milestones in the year 2019. 2020, ICSI is truly transformed digital, become digital. First hybrid convention of the company secretary has been done in the year 2020. And Various courses, online PMQ, online certification courses, online crash courses, international webinar, and so on and so forth has been launched in the year 2020. We have also pushed forward the Academic Connect program of ICSI in the year 2020. 2021, Australia and Singapore Center has been established, and Best Specious Firm Award, so recognizing the services done by the practicing company secretaries firm to the corporate in the growth and development and establishing the corporate governance. Best Specious Firm Award has been established. In the year 2022, today, this year, we have started this year with the first International Conference of Overseas Center and taken many further initiatives. I will be, doing injustice if I will be taking those initiatives by my words. So President will be coming and sharing the said initiative and way forward for this profession. The celebration of Foundation Day reminds us the fact that transparency and accountability must run in our blood and vein to accomplish the ICSI vision to be the global leader in promoting good corporate governance. Expanding our focus for corporate governance to each and every sphere of governance, ICSI building governance ecosystem for sustainable growth is not just a celebratory theme, but a clarion call to all our members, students, and stakeholders. This shall pave the way for creating an ecosystem on two things. First, each stakeholder should be taken care of, and every aspect of governance should be taken care of. So these two things we need to promise today, that we will take care of each stakeholder, we will take care of each aspect of governance. We have celebrated the birth anniversary and having remembered the father of nation just 2 days back. I quote his wise word, which resonate well with the thought that, I quote, "If I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it, even if I may not have at the beginning." This belief that I can do it is truly demonstrated by we company secretary, especially when we face the challenges. And I'm sure we will continue to showcase the same zeal, enthusiasm, and commitment to serve the profession and take it to the newer height. On that note, I would once again extend heartfelt welcome to our esteemed dignitaries. My best wishes to all of you on the occasion of 54th Foundation Day of ICSI. Big round of applause again to all the founding fathers, all the stakeholders, all the members and students who have contributed for the growth and development of the profession. On the occasion of 54th Foundation Day, we have message of Honorable Minister Shri Amit Shah, Home Minister Amit Shah, and Lok Sabha, and a speech of Om Birla Ji, Lok Sabha Speaker. So this is displayed on the board.
Thank you so much, sir, once again for that thought-provoking discourse, specifically pointing out our achievements to encourage us to continue with the legacy. We for sure believe that we can do it. May I now invite CS Devendra V. Deshpande, President, the ICSI, to kindly come and deliver his presidential address and show us the way forward.
Very good morning. Very good morning, each and every member, student, employee, stakeholder, volunteer, past presidents, current president, current vice president, past central council members. I'm sorry, I was a bit tense because of change of schedule of this entire Foundation Day program. And I just wanted to bring a good smile on the faces of you, because we are here to celebrate the 54th Foundation Day of our institute. So I think it should start with a big smile. So I continued with this. So I thank all of you for joining this particular Foundation Day program. I must thank the chief guest today, Bhagwat Karatji, MOS Finance. Because of paucity of time, he had to leave. But in absentia, I thank him, because you understand that this is Navratri and today is a Navmi Pujan. So we all understand that there are responsibilities at home also. So we tried around 48 different dignitaries, and we could get MOS Finance to our Foundation Day as the chief guest, and I must personally thank him because he made out time for our institute and talked to our members and students and say few words about our institute and our profession and how government actually look towards our professionals. So his thoughts were really thought-provoking for us also. I would also like to thank Amarjit Sinha ji for accepting our invitation for being the keynote speaker for the today. I think the Foundation Day always is a very, very important day for any institute or any organization. I would suggest that on Foundation Day, every member, every student, every council member, every regional council member, every managing committee member, every volunteer, everyone who is associated with this institute should take a small pause. It's a pause. You should take a small pause and understand what you have done since last Foundation Day. Whatever improvement were required in yourself, in profession, in institute, in the systems of the institute, whether you have worked towards that. So you should take a pause today and understand that what you have done in last 1 year and try to plan what is your further 1 year going to be. So I think as a president, I have done few analysis of this sort, and I would definitely like to share it with you. So let's today put our thoughts together, put our efforts together, put our minds together, and try to give one different suggestion to the institute. Maybe a positive suggestion, maybe even a critical suggestion that something is required to be improved. Definitely, I have been receiving a lot of messages about working of the few websites, but let's not discuss this on the Foundation Day. We have different occasions to discuss those issues. But today we are celebrating this, so let's try to give one good suggestion to the institute so that the office bearer sitting here can work on it and definitely come out with something big. I will give you one simple example. In 2020, we discussed this matter in respect of social audit and social stock exchanges with SEBI. At that time, SEBI critically told us that one institute is working on that. Let them come out with the draft and then you pitch in. So we were held up on the second place. So we were waiting for our turn to come. On 3rd September this year, we received the response from one of our members talking about social stock exchanges and what role institute is playing. And that triggered that thought process again. We started talking to SEBI. We had detailed meetings with SEBI. Then we had further meetings with NISM. NISM is the agency which will look after certification of social auditors. We worked upon it, and I'm really, really happy. I'm really happy that today, on 4th October 2022, we have our self-regulatory body incorporated. So within a span of 1 month, we could work on one feedback received from a member, and we have our, so that particular initiative will be released to you today. So today we have incorporated the ICSI Secretarial Social Auditors Institute. So that will help us to do social audits. That will actually create a role for company secretaries in social stock exchanges, which is a big thought process which is coming up from the ministry. So I would suggest that it is a time for every member, every student to give something back to the institute. And what best you can do is one idea, one thought process which you can give it to the institute, and institute will definitely work on it. all your suggestions, all your feedbacks are considered by the institute. Usually they have both kinds of pros and cons, and after considering all pros and cons, we work on it. So I think this is the day on which we should give something back to the institute. Let's take that pledge that I will work towards the betterment of my profession, towards the betterment of my institute on this foundation day. When I think about the year which started on 19 January for me as a president, and when I do the analysis of that particular year, I would definitely like to tell you that we started on a very high note when we had our first international conference at Dubai. It was the first conference of an overseas center. So it was an initiative of this year, and it was very well received by the members. On the next day, we got an opportunity, first time ever, your institute actually represented at the World Expo at Dubai. So that was also a proud moment for me as a president and for the institute as well. We were listening to all these MOU signings since 2019. We were involved in signing of MOUs also. And on social media, I used to receive a lot of questions. What is the use of all these MOUs which are getting signed? So first residential program was held with IIM Jammu, which was a leadership program for our company secretaries, and we also received very good response to those programs. There are 3-4 programs which are lined up with IIMs, so IIM faculties would come there and we will have a leadership development program for our members. So that was started again this year, so I am really happy to have that particular initiative started this year. This year we did training for ICLS officers, which was one of the key points. So 2-3 training programs we did this year, which were unique. One was induction of independent directors of PSUs. So in PSUs, all independent directors are appointed from different fields. They may be doctors, engineers, and everyone. So around more than 100 such independent directors were brought in. I think one program was held last year, but this time it was done on a mega scale wherein almost 100 independent directors were present, and we did an induction program for them. Recently we did a program with Department of Public Enterprises for company secretaries of PSUs. So that also we have started. So this one thing which we could do. We also did Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav program, in which ICSI played a very, very important role. This year we also started the memorial lectures for the students, so that the students also remember the past and then they can develop their future. So these few initiatives were taken in respect of programs or sessions. We continued with all the legacy programs, national conventions, national corporate CS conclave, national PCS. I'm not mentioning any of them. We started lot many crash courses, certification courses. I'm not getting into them. But these new things we started this year. We did few publications, unique publications, may it be Secretarial Audit Manual, which came from Auditing Standard Committee, Handbook on Governance, Best Governance Practices, these two publications will definitely have a big impact in the profession in years to come. I would like to also tell you that few other initiatives also we have taken in, other than the publication and different programs. We opened a overseas center in Canada, which was a demand from many members for many years. There are many company secretaries who want to work in Canada, and we have received the information that in Canada also there is a requirement of governance professionals. So we started that. We completely revamped the syllabus that was taken up very well by our members. We received more than 5,500 comments on that syllabus. So from that I could understand that what is the love and affection of each and every member and students they have with our institute. So that actually motivated me. This year we are also going to introduce the BRSR award. The nominations have also already received. So far I think I can disclose this, Ranjit ji, that we have received highest number of nominations for our corporate governance award so far. So as compared to all earlier years. So I think this is something which we could achieve. 2-3 points which I as a president took pride of, because I was invited to be a jury for a ICGN award function, which was one of the biggest organization, you all must be aware, International Corporate Governance Network. This is an association which works towards corporate governance globally, and I was invited as a president of our institute, so on the basis of designation, not on the basis of person. So institute represented there as a jury for that particular award. We also received, recently we received one invitation for a very, very prestigious roundtable. You all, we as students have learnt and undergone and studied OECD principles of corporate governance. So this time they are coming out with amendment to the OECD principles. For that, they have invited your institute to give their inputs on the amendments of OECD principles, which I think is one of the big movement for our institute. So such events definitely, and you all must be aware that the institute has been providing various resource persons for many international conferences also, may it be ICGN, CSI, or whatever conferences are getting held globally. Every conference, usually you will see one of the representative of ICSI representing. So today we are discussing about governance ecosystem for the development of our country. But if we talk about institute, the thought process has completely changed now. I think for last few years. Earlier what we used to do, we used to launch one program and that program used to happen and it was over. Now we are trying to create an ecosystem. When we think about very small things, say for example syllabus review. We only did not change the subject, we did not change the syllabus. What we did, we changed the syllabus, we changed the mode of examination. We are thinking about entering into academic bank of credit, wherein the cross exemptions can be available for our profession. We are thinking about coming out with a complete consolidated mark list, which we don't have. As a member, I don't have a consolidated mark list. I do have a transcript, but I don't have a consolidated mark list. So we started with syllabus, ended with the complete ecosystem for the students. So this is how your institute is working. I can give you a couple of more examples also, like what we discussed about arbitration. So we started with one arbitration book that actually initiated different things. So along with the book, we also came out with few crash courses, few certificate courses, and one BMQ course, which is one of the big course which we are running. Along with that, the COE, Hyderabad, they also worked on this particular arbitration issue, and they came out with different kinds of training programs. Once everything was in place, we had around 300 plus people who have gone through all these training courses. We came out with one concept called as ADR Center. So we did not restrict ourselves to only arbitration. We expanded to arbitration, mediation and conciliation. So we came out with ADR Center. This ADR Center will empanel the company secretaries. So maybe company secretaries having 15 years plus experience, they will be empaneled directly as arbitrator and they will have to run through one small online course. For these are all recommendations. We will be coming out with the detailed rules and regulations for that. A company secretary with 10 years plus experience, he can come to institute, take certain certification courses and get himself registered in arbitration as an arbitrator. Yeah. And third, like a company secretary from 5 years to 10 years, he can empanel himself as an arbitrator if he goes through a PMQ course. That is what we are doing. So once he will get registered, but maybe as per Arbitration Act, he may not be appointed as arbitrator. He may be appointed as authorized representative. He may work as authorized representative. So this is the complete one arbitration, one small point, one small publication brought out all these concepts together. And institute came out with this particular institute of ADR. So, the example which I already spoken about, the social stock exchange. One feedback, and that has now created an institute, a subsidiary of our institute, which will work on social audit. And soon, maybe 5 years down the line, we will be the leaders in social audit because it is related to non-financial audits. So I think this is the way forward. In respect of, this is all about what we did so far, and a few things which I would definitely like to tell you that what is forward. So now I have talked about up to Foundation Day and what is installed beyond Foundation Day. So today we are coming out with one initiative which is called as Startup and MSME Catalyst. So I had been meeting a lot of dignitaries from state level. So maybe chief ministers or few minister of industries of different states. And they told us that, okay, there are two requirements from us. Like from the institute, they had two requirements. One is your professional should work in MSME and startup, and there has to be a portal wherein we can get the information about them. So we are coming out with MSME and startup catalyst portal, which will definitely help all the governments to take note of people working in this area and the new enterprise. It's time? No, I'm just kidding. Again, wanted to bring out a smile. I know that it is very difficult for them to give me a chat of time. So this startup and MSME catalyst will definitely help state governments as well as upcoming entrepreneurs to take services of company secretaries. And company secretary, if he joins a particular startup from beginning, he will be giving a complete ecosystem to that particular enterprise to reach to the IPO level or the listing level. ICSI, Institute of Social Auditors, I have already informed you, and today we have received the certificate of incorporation after exactly 54 years. So 54 years back, we have received certificate of incorporation of our institute. Today we have received the certificate of incorporation of our subsidiary company. So that is, and it's all about coincidence. We have not specifically worked on it. We were trying to get it as early as possible, but luckily, unluckily, we got it today. Next one is we are going to actually open up the centers, ADR centers now, starting from Hyderabad and going forward to metro cities and Bangalore. Wherever we have good infrastructure, we will be definitely working out with Ministry of Law and coming out with this infrastructure for ADR center. We are coming out with a professional talk show. This is a new initiative which we are starting. So next 3 months, we will be running talk shows with different entrepreneurs, different industrialists. They will speak about how company secretary or how these professionals help them to develop either corporate governance or how they can play a role in different areas. So we are coming out with this particular concept. One concept we are now thinking about is we have incorporated RVO in 2017. Ranjit ji told us this particular fact in his address. So in 2017, we came out with RVO, and yes, there are good number of company secretaries who are registered as registered valuers so far. But we thought that let's think about it and what change we can make. So we have decided to come out with a scheme which is called as one firm, one valuer. So every practicing firm should have one valuer. And for that, what we need to do, we may have to have a ABC session. So valuation starting from ground. So the course may have technical points starting from financial statements till valuation principles. So we are coming out with this scheme, and soon we will be launching this. We are going to have our ICSI Guru Shrestha Awards, which is also one part of one part of our Academic Connect, wherein we will be giving awards to the best teachers in different universities with which we have the MOU. We are coming out with ICSI. Yeah, please close the door. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but still there are less people outside than inside. So I must thank all of you for being here. ICSI Youth Board meeting, which is to promote our secretarial standards from 11th, 12th standard. So we will have this competition between the students of different universities for youth board meeting, and they will be doing the mock meetings on the basis of secretarial standards. So these are the few initiatives which are lined up. So I would try to complete all of them before I demit my office. But still, if even after that, the things will continue, and we all, like I would be sitting there maybe next time, and we all together will help our institute to grow, not only on 54th Foundation Day, but further 54 Foundation Days together. Thank you very much. Jai ICSI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us an insight of what ICSI would be doing in the future. The zeal and enthusiasm with which you spoke speaks volumes about your indomitable spirit. Taking a leap forward and, as President already mentioned, addressing the renewed perspective of the company secretary profession, the ICSI is launching a few initiatives today. The first one is Startup and MSME Catalyst. In an attempt to unleash the potential of MSMEs and to provide further impetus to the startup ecosystem, the ICSI conceived the idea of Startup and MSME Catalyst. I would now request our guest to kindly launch the initiative virtually.
The Indian journey of becoming the 5th largest economy in the world has been powered by the contribution of expanding business opportunities, flourishing startup culture, ever-growing strength of MSMEs, and the support of government schemes and initiatives. In an attempt to truly unleash the potential of the MSMEs and to provide further impetus to the startup ecosystem, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India is rolling out a unique initiative, the Startup and MSME Catalyst. The Startup and MSME Catalyst will offer support through a well-qualified and sound brigade of professionals providing ease of compliance, a virtual help desk to resolve queries on legal and compliance issues of startups and MSMEs, capacity building courses and dedicated publications to empower and equip the professionals, and a think tank to provide advice on policy matters for strengthening the startup and MSME ecosystem. Laying greater emphasis on enhancing the capacity and capabilities of startups and MSMEs, the initiative shall go a long way in facilitating ease of doing business as well as realizing the national vision of becoming a $5 trillion economy, all while raising the benchmarks of good corporate governance.
Our next launch is also a soft launch. It is the ICSI International ADR Center. The purpose of the center will be to provide state-of-the-art infrastructure and arbitration facilities, empanel professionals, and conduct training and other capacity-building initiatives. May I please request our esteemed guest to again launch the initiative.
Arbitration and mediation have gained momentum at a pace faster than expected. Understanding the need for declogging the courts and providing speedy justice, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India has incorporated a Section 8 company, the ICSI International ADR Center. The ICSI International ADR Center, with the support of Ministry of Law and Justice, shall facilitate the well-established mechanisms of alternate dispute resolution. The ICSI International ADR Center will have a focused approach towards providing state-of-the-art infrastructure and arbitration facilities for both domestic and international issues, empaneling professionals and creating a pool of arbitrators, and conducting training and other capacity building initiatives. The first center will be set up in Hyderabad, followed by Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bengaluru, and other cities across the nation. Besides offering services, the center shall also provide a facility for conducting proceedings through video conferencing. Taking a leap ahead, the ICSI is opening avenues for developing an ecosystem for sustainable corporate growth and professional opportunity.
Our third launch of the day is a publication, CS, a preferred professional. The book showcases the journey of the profession, the core areas of the profession, key attributes of company secretaries, expectations of the regulators and other stakeholders, recognitions accorded to the profession, emerging areas of work, and the way forward. The publication will not only serve as a perfect guide to company secretary professionals, but will also help in achieving excellence and growth. And finally, we are launching the ICSI Institute of Social Auditors, again a soft launch, to make way for greater professionalism and to create a fine brigade of social auditors. The ICSI has created a self-regulatory organization, the ICSI Institute of Social Auditors, or IISA. May I please request our esteemed guests to kindly launch the initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the ICSI Institute of Social Auditors.
Platforms for corporations and entities. Understanding the fundraising needs of entities and organizations having social objectives. The concept of social stock exchange gained momentum. Paving the way for far greater financial access for social enterprises, the SEBI introduced regulations providing for a listing of these entities. One of the mandates for the entities listed of the social stock exchange shall be to have the audit for their social impact conducted by social auditors. To make way for greater professionalism and to create a brigade of social auditors, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India has created a self-regulatory organization, the ICSI Institute of Social Auditors, or IISA. The IISA will develop standards for social audit, register social auditors, lay down standards of professional conduct, and partner with NISM for the content development and delivery of course curriculum on social audit. The ICSI Institute of Social Auditors will pave way for a new era of social impact assessment, reaffirming the vision of the Institute to be a global leader in promoting good corporate governance.
Yep, one more time, a big round of applause for the ICSI for launching all these initiatives today. And it is now time to invite our keynote speaker, Shri Amarjeet Sinha, to kindly come and address the gathering. Now, before that, I'll just give a very brief profile of our esteemed guest. He's currently posted as member, Public Enterprises Selection Board. He was earlier posted as advisor to the Prime Minister in the rank of Secretary to Government of India till 31st July 2021, an Indian Administrative Service Officer of Bihar cadre of 1983 batch. He retired in December 2019 as Secretary, Department of Rural Development, Government of India. He has 38 years of experience in government, largely in the rural and social sector. He has had the unique distinction of having played a major role in designing Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, India's main program for universal education, the National Rural Health Mission, and in bringing about governance reforms in programs for rural areas covering livelihoods, employment, housing, social security skills, rural development, and road construction. He's also been training Indian Administrative Service Officers at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Missouri, on the social sector for the last 30 years. Shri Sinha has published several books on public policy and a large number of articles in various publications. His latest book, An India for Everyone, A Path to Inclusive Development, was published in 2013, and he is presently working on his forthcoming book, The Last Mile, Turning Public Policy Upside Down. Please welcome Shri Amarjeet Sinha.
Good morning, friends. Friends, Rajesh, Devendra, and Ashish, I hope I got the names right. You must be wondering, after listening to whatever the very liberal introduction, what am I doing here? I have so little to do with you. Spent all my life doing social sector, education, health, and rural livelihoods. But friends, what brings me here is the quest for governance, Because at the end of the day, across sectors, when you're talking about social audit, it was resonating my own experiences of how we were trying to bring accountability into public expenditures by incorporating social and internal audit. And a lot of what you were doing and what you proposed to do is what we had to do. For many years, I had been hearing about social audit in the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Now, when first thing that you ask for, what are the auditing standards? What do you audit on the basis of? I could not find any. Simply because social audit was seen as a forum for naming and shaming. Call everyone together and the elected representative gets a dressing down from everybody. That's what social audit was. It never served a purpose. If you don't have auditing standards, how will you decide what to do? So what we did was to sit with the Controller and Auditor General, work out the detailed auditing standards, and based on that, designing a course which the Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai did for us, that anybody who carries social audit must have the basic certification and wherewithal to do it. A 45-day course which they developed for all our block level and district level social auditors. We also decided to go ahead and have a village level social auditor in the form of a member of a self-help group who undertook a 7-day program on what that audit was going to be about. We followed it up with our own institution, the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj in Hyderabad. Like ICSI, it is an institution which gives us backup support. We set up a Center for Social Audit there, whose mandate is to train and certify these social auditors. So when you do on scale of 1 billion people in 1 million places, a lot of these innovations have to be built in. Friends, the challenge of governance is the challenge of a nation wishing to be a preeminent nation of the world before it completes 100 years. It's the challenge of a nation wishing to set aside poverty, illiteracy, inequality, to move in the company of developed nations of the world and provide leadership to the world. My young friends sitting here, the students of the company secretary course, I can only say, you live in the most disruptive times, but you also live in one of the most aspirational times. Not the best time to talk about good things simply because of the Ukraine war, the high rates of inflation, the high rates of petrol and gas. These are all challenges before us. But if you didn't have problems, we wouldn't need good governance and company secretaries. You have a role and you are 65,000 as of now. My own assessment is, give yourself another 5 or 10 years, you will probably cross 200,000. And the reason for it is the number of companies that this country will need to set up for good governance, for standardized practices of maintenance of accounts, audit, etc., on a much larger scale. And therefore, it will also bring you closer to the area of my work, which is the rural areas. But why I am raising it is, you would have heard about the farmer-producer companies now. Let me give you a few examples. You know, when the Amul Dairy got set up, the National Dairy Development Board, and the cooperative dairy story that all of you know about, the Amul and what it does. Now what happens is, all these forms of cooperative institutions, while they do very well, many states came up with the milk dairies and they've done well, but the demand for such cooperatives far outstrips the ability of the system to set them up. As a consequence, a new development in this sector, thanks to the Companies Act, was the setting up of what we now call the producer companies. A producer company is under the Companies Act, and therefore it needs people like you. And producer companies provide a more democratic participation of every milk pourer. There are challenges of managing the equality principle and the equity principle in many cooperatives because power relations are such that often a few can capture it. In the case of producer companies, so far that has not happened. The persons I work with as part of my rural development portfolio, we have an army of about 84 million women who are part of women's collectives called the Livelihood Mission, the self-help groups. Many of you would have heard about the self-help groups. We were only about 25 million in 2014. We are now about 84 million women spread across the country in more than 75 lakh self-help groups. Southern Indian states are known for their decline in poverty. Now, one of the foremost reasons for it has been these women's collectives, their participation in higher education, decline in fertility rates as a consequence of their participation, their exposure to skill, vocationalization and other courses, and access to loans by provision of collateral-free lending to self-help groups introduced by the Reserve Bank of India when Dr. Rangarajan was there 29 years ago. Many of these little nano enterprises are on their journeys to become micro and even medium enterprises. And that is the challenge before all of us, both you and us. Because if you meet any of these group of women who've got into enterprises, come onto the e-marketplace, they're selling their products on the Amazon or on the GEM portal, what they look for is good professionals like you. What they look for is good company secretaries like you. What they need are professional managers. They don't want subsidies on loans. They're willing to take a loan. But they want professionals who can guide their businesses and make them better. Now, governance is about systems. Governance is about value for money. If I spend 100 rupees, am I getting 100 rupees worth? Governance is about defining the ground rules. What is ethical and what is not? What is it that I need to do? And your role, each one of you sitting in this room, is very critical to the functioning of a company. But a company structure, much as a lot of the requirements of all the reports and returns to be filled up appears very cumbersome, but it generates for us a sea of knowledge which can be put to so much use. So each one of you, one thing is very certain, disruptive times don't allow us the liberty of thinking that we have arrived. Each time you think you have arrived, a new software comes and you go through that rigor again to be able to master it. Therefore, it is always better to travel than to arrive. And always remember that perfection is finality and finality is death. While you can pursue perfection, none of us can ever be perfect because times keep changing, requirements are different. So friends, from the perspective of rural and tier 2 and tier 3, I expect many of you to move in that direction in the next 10 to 15 years. Because COVID has thrown up its own challenges. If your companies are in those cities, you will need to relocate to those places as well. And there is a body of evidence now which says that it may well be far more better, in fact, far better for smaller cities to grow rather than large metropolises to keep growing. The inefficiencies of very large cities, there was a time when we used to think that, no, there are only efficiencies of large cities. Now the argument is to the contrary, and the evidence is also to the contrary. Especially from environmental perspective, the ESG perspective that we all talk about now. Given these considerations, I do expect many of you to move out of the Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad circuit and go on to district towns and other places with far more opportunities and ways of developing businesses, organizing them professionally, and making them move from the journey of nano enterprises to micro and medium enterprises. One challenge we have in our country when we compare ourselves with China, many of their nano enterprises have grown to become medium and large enterprises. In our country, very few of them, we have a large number of registered MSMEs. One of your releases today was with regard to helping and facilitating the journeys of MSMEs. Unfortunately, many, very few of them are able to make up that journey to the next category. And clearly, that is coming in the way because a lot of the employment is generated through many of these MSMEs, and we need to, what they need is not so much finance, not so much other benefits, not so much subsidies, but professional management. If they knew how to manage their businesses more professionally, the challenges are many. We run a program in the rural development space, started about 5 years ago, called the Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program, under which we have tried in partnership with the Enterprise Development Institute in Gandhinagar and the Kudumsri Self-Help Group Movement of Kerala to actually develop community resource persons for enterprise, whose job is to tell a local entrepreneur what is it that they should produce, what price should they produce, where should they source their raw materials from, what cost they should charge for the final product, and so on. In the absence of professional support, many of them have challenges. Friends, many of you will also be working with very large companies and firms, and in changing times, the compliance to statutory requirements become very necessary. Company secretaries almost become like the eyes and ears of the managing director to tell them whether or not all the compliances are met. And in an age of technology, you miss out on one compliance and you have 3 notices immediately. Your tax returns not filed on time, there's a notice. Your GST returns not filed on time, there's a notice. So your lack of professionalism can land companies into trouble. Independent directors and their orientation, as Devendra just mentioned about all, I also had the opportunity to address them. The Companies Act mandates a certain role for them, and your job is to keep them well informed for them to be able to exercise that authority. The basic principle that we are all trying to develop is let companies and institutions have opportunities to grow, but let them grow in a manner that they follow the ground rule, that they follow ethical practices, that they follow systems which are in accordance with what is laid down by law. So your role becomes that of a lawyer, that of a manager, that of the first one to tell the MD, look, this has not happened, this may bring us into trouble. Now, this professional responsibility which company secretaries have means the world for managing directors. Many of them get carried away with their innovation. Many of them want to do many things, but do not know how to organize it the right way. And that's what professionals like you bring to the table. I compliment the ICSI for all that you have been designing and striving for. And let me tell you, very few institutions have such an outstanding definition of what they do. Dharma and Satya is what you do, is what you are told to do, is what your oath is. And that shows the way, that shows the opportunities available for you. Friends, in this Amrit Kal, businesses are going to grow. 5 trillion will become $30 trillion someday. When that happens, it's not 50,000 or 65,000 company secretaries, but perhaps 650,000 company secretaries that would be needed. But needed across different services, different economic activities, different manufacturing and services sectors, all of them having their own compliances. Because technology does facilitate, but we must always remember that technology is a means and not an end in itself. A company secretary cannot be wished away simply because technology is available. Companies would still need the human element there. Let me illustrate this with a parallel point. Last 7 years, working with the Honorable Prime Minister, my responsibility was to manage the pro-poor public welfare programs to ensure under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin that everybody gets a house, to ensure that gas connections are given to the poor, to ensure that electricity connections are provided to households, and so on. That Jan Dhan bank accounts are opened for all the women and others. You would have heard about the use of technology in all this. And I am giving this illustration because the power of the JAM Trinity that we talk about, the JAM Trinity, along with one other development which I just relate to you because it has a parallel, one major crisis in social development used to be how to identify who is deprived, who needs public support. So far, we had been drawing up below poverty line lists and doing all kinds of things, local governments and local pradhans and others having their say, including somebody, excluding somebody else. Government took a call that we will now do this scientifically based on easily identifiable parameters. If I live in a kacha house with kacha wall and kacha roof, I am deprived. If there is no literate in my household beyond age 25, I am deprived, and so on. So there were ways of excluding. If I lived in a pakka house, if I had a motorized vehicle, if I had a government job, I am automatically excluded. But if the other categories that I mentioned, if I am a widow with no other male earning member living in a kacha room, I am a deprived person. So what the government went in for was the social economic census, which is caste neutral, creed neutral and religion neutral. Whoever who lives in a झोपड़ी, जहाँ कोई पढ़ा लिखा नहीं है, जहाँ कोई other breadwinner नहीं है, जहाँ पे landless laborers हैं, these were the categories covered under deprived. You would have heard about one of the success stories of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has been pro-poor public welfare in reaching many of these facilities to the beneficiaries. Now that same list of deprived households prepared scientifically through a system of census and enumeration, you can actually drill down village-wise, get the deprived households, see who are the households living in kacha houses and provide for their facilities. Now, when knowledge is available, when technology is available, it needs still the human stimulation to do it. IT DBT is easier announced than done. At the cutting edge level, since we've been through that journey, I know what a task it is to get every bank account Aadhaar linked, to get camps in every Gram Panchayat with the branch manager of the bank and the local households coming at the same time, laborers, somebody is free, somebody is not free. You have camps after camps to ensure that. So friends, nothing gets done on its own. It has to be done, you have to actually make it happen, then only it happens. It doesn't happen by itself. And therefore, for each one of you, always remember that the map is never the territory. You may be overall looking at governance, you would be looking at the books of account and so on. Therefore, I am very happy that social audit is also being now seen as a part of your mandate. The power of social audit lies in its strong community connect. What it does, it provides you an opportunity to let citizens have a say in how the ethical standards are being followed, to have a say in whether or not you're getting value for money. For young aspiring company secretaries, the sky is the limit. You can grow and you can grow beyond. Thank you so much. There can be many examples from many sectors, but I would only like to close my presentation by complimenting the ICSI for setting standards. You know, what we don't realize, how important it is, you can't have individual excellence driving change. When we talk of large systems, you have to groom professionals in such a way and as per such standards that every office is able to maintain a standard. Accounting principles, individuals don't set it up. So a lot of these global standards that you're pursuing, it makes a difference, because it is only through these independent, autonomous standard setting that we are able to create aspirations in every company. By recognizing and rewarding those who follow it well, you are further encouraging them to follow and to follow this more diligently. Because in many of these standard setting exercises, what it does, it lays down a benchmark of what has to be done. It lays down a clarity of what is on and what is not on. It guides you what is it that you need to bring to the notice of the CMD immediately as a company secretary, and so on. Friends, we live in a dynamic period, a changing period. The world and global relations are changing. All kinds of new forms of investments, derivatives, many things are coming. Each of these will demand specialized professional knowledge with company secretaries, what to account for, where to account for, how to explain, and so on. Softwares, computers will all be very beneficial and helpful, but at the end of the day, there is no substitute to the human element. On your 54th annual Foundation Day, it's really I must say, Devendra, you've been very fortunate as a president to have your 54th Foundation Day on Navami, Navratra and Navami, and to have announced 4 new initiatives on this day. When Rajesh was listing the roadmap on how the organization has evolved and developed, I was visualizing what an important role this body has played for corporate governance and for sustainable growth of companies. If valuations in the market in India have gone up manifold and has gone up without any major hiccups, a lot of the credit goes to institutions like the SEBI, like the ICSI, like the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and so on. If these professionals were not there, half the SEBI guidelines could not have been complied with. Half the Companies Act regulations could not have been complied with. So your roles are extremely important for the growth of a company, for the growth of company by the right way, for value for money, and for more importantly, in a manner that it meets the rule of law and the systems prevalent in our country. Friends, I wish each one of you the very best, and I know building institutions is always generations of hard work. Many of them are here, ex-presidents and others. I compliment each one of them for having given excellence to this institution. A company secretary from India is well regarded across the world, and if you continue the journey of excellence, the pursuit of excellence will bring in many more laurels to you and to your institution. Wishing for the very best on your 54th Foundation Day. Grow with the times, take full advantage of the opportunities available to you, guide the startups and others in a manner that they not only gain in size, but they gain in excellence, institutionalize governance, and actually contribute to nation making in a far more significant way. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you so much, sir, for this invaluable address. You've blended all that we do so well with all that we can do in the Amrit Kal to take the nation forward into becoming one of the biggest economy in the world to reckon with. I now request CS Devendra V. Deshpande, President, the ICSI, to present the ICSI memento to our guest as a token of our appreciation and gratitude for giving us so much time amidst your busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please. With that, we now come to the end of this part of our celebrations today. However, we are sure that our celebration of being a part of an institute of this magnanimity will continue for life. On that note, I would request CS Ashish Mohan, Secretary, the ICSI, to kindly come and propose the vote of thanks now.
Namaste. Good afternoon, all of you. Wish you all a happy Foundation Day. Chief guest of the day, Dr. Bhagwat Kishan Rao Karad, Honorable Union Minister of State of Finance, Government of India. Keynote speaker, Shri Amarjit Sinha, Member Public Enterprise Selection Board and former advisor to the Prime Minister of India. CS Devendra V. Deshpande, President ICSI. CS Ranjit Pandey, former President and Chairman Foundation Day Organizing Committee. Former President Shri Krishnan Ji, Shri Pawan Kumar Vijay Ji, Shri Nasar Ahmed Ji. Council members, other dignitaries on and off the dais, dear members, professional colleagues, students and team ICSI. Today is indeed a momentous day for the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, celebrating its 54th Foundation Day. Ladies and gentlemen, as all of you know, ICSI upholds a glorious past in line with its vision, mission and motto, and has always been at the forefront of promoting good corporate governance. In the past 53 years, it has endeavored for the development of a good governance culture at the nation and at the global level. In the last 5 decades, the pioneering support and association for building the culture of good governance throughout the corporate landscape has significantly contributed for the inclusive growth of the nation. I congratulate the entire professional fraternity and team ICSI on entering into the 54th year, making its triumph as the premier institute of governance professionals of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the chief guest of the day, Dr. Bhagwat Kishan Rao Karad, Honorable Union Minister of State of Finance, Government of India, was with us today, and for his pressing commitments, he had to leave early. And we have no words to express our gratitude to him because of his for his time. In spite of his hectic schedule, he made it today here with us, and we express our sincere gratitude for his words of wisdom. And also, he in his simple words has thrown light on the role we have to play, especially with regard to the ESG part. I thank him on behalf of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Shri Amarjit Sinha, Member Public Enterprises Selection Board and former advisor to the Prime Minister of India. Sir, we are truly inspired listening to you. In just 10 minutes, you have really inspired all of us. And sir, it is not design, it was not anything planned out of design, but it has been purely coincidental. I was sharing with him a few moments before the session at the lobby, and I had a chance to glance through his book which he has authored, and he has spent a lot of material on social audit. So I was just throwing some ideas on social audit, and in fact, it has been a coincidence that today, in your presence, we are taking our baby steps for the social audit part of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Thank you, sir, for your presence, and we look forward for a continued support from your side with regard to our efforts in the social audit arena. Thank you very much, sir. Friends, I would also like to place on record my sincere thanks to the President ICSI, CS Devendra Deshpande, for his wonderful piece of advice, as well as his sharing of his thoughts, of his vision and his thought process throughout this year, and also his vision for the coming days. Thank you, sir, for your presence and your guidance throughout this year. Also place on record my sincere thanks to Shri C.S. Ranjit Pandey, Chairman, Foundation Day Organizing Committee, and the former President of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I also take this opportunity to thank all the esteemed members, professionals and students present physically here, as well as connected to us virtually today. Also would like to place a sincere request that all the members connected through us here physically as well as virtually to please enroll yourself to the CSBF also. I thank each one of you, thank each one of the members here and all the employees of the Institute. Thank you, each one of you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे गावे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल गायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you so much, everyone, and a big round of applause for each one of us here and for ICSI. I would now request all of you all to kindly join us for lunch at the Desire Hall.